Today, we're going to learn how to create a really easy, simple web page. The cool thing about creating web pages is you really don't need any fancy software at all. So right now, I have open a text editor called TextEdit that comes on every Mac computer. If you have a PC computer with Windows, then you should have an app called Notepad that does the exact same thing. So the first thing I want to do in my text editor is make sure that I'm in text mode. So you can see up here at the top, I have all these things to do fancy word processing stuff, so I don't want that there. So I'm going to go to the format menu and tell it to make it plain text, and all that goes away. If you're using a PC with Notepad, you don't have to do that. It's already going to be in plain text. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and we use what's called tags to mark up our text so it looks and appears differently on a web page. So the first tag we need, we're going to put a left angle bracket, which you probably call a less than sign at your house, and then the letters HTML for Hypertext Markup Language. When we're ready to end that, we're going to put a right angle bracket, which looks just like a greater than sign. Now, tags in HTML come in pairs, so if we have one, we have to have another matching one that closes it. There's only one little difference, and if you see right here, I put a forward slash. It's real important that that slash is leaning the correct way, so take a close look and make sure you get it going the correct direction. All right, so an HTML document has two parts. It has a head, so we're going to use those angle brackets again and put the word head in it. Now remember I told you that all tags are in pairs, so we're going to go ahead and leave us some space, but we're going to close that head tag. Now we want to make sure below the head tag that we have our body tag. So I'm going to put a body tag, and then again, they're all in pairs, so I'm going to close the body tag. So it's important that we have a head and a body. We don't want to have a headless zombie web page, so make sure that you have both a head and a body. Now in the head section, we put things that have information about the page or things that we want the web browser to know, but they don't necessarily appear in the body of the page. So you know when you're using a web browser, there's tabs that tell you the name of the web page you're on. So we're going to put the tag called title, and then we're going to give our web page a name. And today I think we'll call it HTML is fun and a few exclamation points. Remember, if we open a tag, we have to close it, and we made sure to use that forward slash for that closing. So when we look at this in our web browser in just a minute, we're going to see HTML is fun on the tab. So what goes in the body is what we want to actually see on the page. So there's lots of tags we can use here, and one of them is called a heading tag. It's like when you're going to write a paper, the very first thing you might put in it is a heading. So we're going to use that angle bracket again, and I'm going to put an H for heading and a 1 for the level of heading. So I want mine to be the top level heading, the biggest, best, most important heading, so it's a level 1. We could put a 2 or a 3 all the way to a 6 being the smallest heading. All right, so we need to put a message in here. So let's have our message today say, I want to be a lumberjack. Then we're going to close that HTML, that H1 tag. And that's really all we need for an actual web page. Doesn't look like much, so let's go see what it actually looks like. So what we're going to do is we need to save this, but we have to save it in a special way. So when you go to save, you need to make sure that we're saving this with the right file extension. So I'm going to call this one my page.html. Make sure you get those letters in the correct order. HTML for Hypertext Markup Language. We want to make sure that the web browser doesn't try, or the editor doesn't try to add that .txt on the end. So I'm going to uncheck this box. so it won't try to add .txt. If you have a PC and you're using Notepad where it says save files as type, we just need to change that to all files instead of .txt. So now I'm going to say save. I just went ahead and saved this onto my desktop. So we're going to see that this is going to pop up on my desktop. Notice the file extension is just .html, not .text. It's possible on your computer all you see is the words my page, but you might also see HTML here. It's also possible that this is a big blue E or it's the cool Chrome globe, and that's okay too. So to open the file, we double click it and it's going to open up the web browser. In my case, it opened up Safari. On your computer, it might open up Edge or Explorer or Firefox or whatever browser you use. And notice on the tab, it says HTML is fun because that's what we put in the title bar. And we have a big heading that says, I want to be a lumberjack. So you have just created your very first web page. We'll have another video that shows you how to change colors and really kind of jazz up your web page. Hope you have fun doing this.